Hey everyone, Jake here for ExtremeTerrain, and in this video we're going to discuss how to choose a lift kit for your Jeep Gladiator. Now there are a ton of different choices out there when it comes to lift kits for these trucks, and that can make it confusing. So to help mitigate some of that confusion and give you a general heading to help you choose, I'm going to break down the types of kits available into 4 categories: leveling kits, spacer lifts, coil spring lifts, and a full feature lift kit. Now each are available in a variety of different heights to suit the look and feel that you're after, but they each have their own appeal. So with that, let's dive in. First up is the simplest of the bunch, the leveling kit. Take for example the Teraflex 1.5-inch performance spacer leveling kit. Now a leveling kit like the Teraflex here usually offers a spacer, sometimes referred to as a puck, to effectively raise the front suspension, thus leveling out that stance. In this case, Teraflex offers a modular solution, so you can use one part of the spacer to get 1 inch of lift up front, or use both pieces to get the full 1.5 inches. That's going to level out your Gladiator nicely, but it isn't going to jack it up to the sky. It will, however, give you the ability to fit up to 33-inch tires for Sport and Sahara models, and Rubicons can fit up to a 35-inch tire with this kit. Spacers can be made from a variety of different materials. In this case, the Teraflex one is a lightweight, durable polyurethane, and there are a few big benefits aside from the stance. First, these kits are easy to install. Spacers just sit right on top of your front springs, and they take the place of the factory spring perches. So install is about as simple as a lift is going to get. And since you're not changing out really any other suspension components, a leveling kit isn't going to change up your factory ride quality. So your truck is still going to drive nice and smooth, just sit a little higher. The other big selling point here is that these are inexpensive. The Teraflex we've got as an example here only runs about $150, making it a very affordable mod for pretty much any build. Now the next logical step when it comes to a lift is the spacer lift, such as the ReadyLIFT 2.5-inch SST suspension lift kit. A spacer lift is similar to the leveling kit that we were just looking at, albeit with a few more pieces to it. The biggest difference is that this is a front and rear lift. So unlike the leveling kit, this is going to raise the ride height of both the front and rear end of the Gladiator. In the case of this ReadyLIFT one, you get 2.5 inches of additional height in the front and 2 inches in the rear. So in addition to physically raising up your truck's ride height, it's also going to give you a bit more in the front, and that's again going to help eliminate that rake we were talking about. Now a 2.5-inch lift like this on a Gladiator means that you can fit up to 35s on here without having to make other modifications. Now 37s might fit in some instances, but they are going to have some rubbing unless you do a bit of trimming in the wheel arches. Spacer lifts include, as the name suggests, a set of coil spring spacers for the front and rear, and in most cases, some additional pieces as well. This one from ReadyLIFT in particular includes new longer sway bar end links, as well as front shock extensions and bump stop extensions as well to get everything nice and lined up. Now, not every spacer lift is going to include exactly the same things, so it's important to take a look at what you think will be most important for your build. For example, this ReadyLIFT kit is great for somebody who just wants to get the lift and keep the rest of their factory suspension components intact. But if you're planning on replacing shocks or springs later on down the road, a less inclusive kit might be a better choice for you. But that is the beauty of the spacer lift. They're relatively simple to install, they're still pretty inexpensive, and they don't compromise ride quality, and you can use them as a great jumping off point for your build. Starting with the spacer lift gives you the flexibility to piece together the components that you want and tailor your JT to your exact specs. Moving up the ladder, we get to the coil spring lift, such as this SkyJacker 2.5-inch dual rate long travel suspension lift kit. Where this one differs from the last two we looked at is how the lift is achieved. As opposed to utilizing spacers, this one replaces your springs with larger units to give you the extra height that you're after. This SkyJacker kit in particular gets you 2.5 inches of lift up front with 1.5 inches of lift in the rear using dual rate coil springs, and they're paired with new front and rear Black Max shocks and extended sway bar end links to help accommodate that extra height. 2.5 inches of lift again means that you can get 35s on your JT without having to make other modifications. But again, anything larger may have some rubbing issues or require you to do some trimming. Coil spring lifts are great for the JT owner who's looking for a healthy combination of form and function. Since you're changing out the springs, in this case with dual rate units, this is going to change up the handling characteristics. Some kits may err more on the softer side, some may be a bit firmer. The SkyJacker kit combines 2 different spring rates into one spring, giving you the compliance you want for off-roading with the firmness you need for cornering on the street. Some coil spring lifts don't include shocks, but you can spend a bit more for a set that includes them should you wish, kind of like this one. Usually getting them together in a kit like this ensures that the springs and shocks are designed to work together and will match, so the damping and the rebound will complement one another very well, making for a cool look and a really solid driving experience. Now this is a more involved kit and thus will be more expensive to buy and will also take a bit longer to install simply because you're replacing more parts. So just plan on spending a bit more money and a bit more time to get this one on your truck. Going further still is what I'm calling the full lift kit, like this Rough Country 3.5-inch suspension lift kit with the premium M3 shocks. Now, as you can probably already tell, there is a lot of stuff included in this one. Full kits like this usually include the larger coil springs and accompanying shocks, plus things like larger track bars, bump stop extensions, and sway bar end links, just like this Rough Country one. Now, a 3.5-inch lift will again allow you to get up to 35-inch tires on without modifications. 37s will fit better on here, but may still have some rubbing, so plan on having to do some trimming still. Now, these full kits take things a step further than our other examples by, again, offering more pieces, and thus they're going to provide your Gladiator with more capability out on the trail, but still help maintain its manners on the street. Big things to note here first includes the track bar. Now, that's something you usually only see in the larger kits or more inclusive ones, and it's a hallmark of the full lift kit. These type of kits also typically include some nicer shock options like the M3's Rough Country is including in our example. These sorts of lift kits are where you'll typically find things like remote reservoir shocks or shocks with adjustable damping. Some go so far as to include new control arms, and some of those are even adjustable. Suffice it to say, a full kit like this Rough Country one or some of the others in the category are very well suited to a truck that's going to see some overlanding duty, more frequent off-roading, things like that. But they're still going to keep things in check out on the street because you're not going super high, as in our example. Though they will also, by their nature, carry the largest price tag. And of course, since there's a lot of pieces in here, that also means it's going to take you longer to install, again, just because there's simply more things to do. Now that's just a primer on lift kits, and of course we could go much further in depth talking about different heights and sizes and all the possible different components. But in general, choosing the type that you want first is a great way to get things rolling, and your build will certainly only grow from there. Check out the site, see what might strike your fancy and what's going to suit your JT best. In the meantime, if you liked this video and found it helpful, give it a thumbs up. Let us know in the comments if there are other topics you'd like us to cover. We've got lots more product review, install, and content videos coming your way soon as well, so make sure you've subscribed and you click that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. I'm Jake, thank you for watching, and as always, for all things Jeep, be sure to keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.